everyone. Welcome back to OTTB on Tap. I'm Neve.
And I'm Emily. Hey, Neve, what's on tap today?
Today we're back with Chelsey O'Brien, who has been a fan favorite recurring guest on OTTB on Tap. We'll start with wrapping up her trip to the RRP Makeover, move on to the Real Ryder Cup, and then talk about what's been happening next in her very busy life. Hi, Chelsey.
Hi.
Welcome back. For anyone who really, I know it's been a little while since we've chatted. So for anybody that hasn't caught up, or I think we left off just before the RRP Makeover from 2020. What year is it? 2025? Was it? Was that last year? Can you just give us a quick snapshot about who you are and what you do, just as a quick refresher?
Okay, my name is Chelsey O'Brien. I run a training and boarding and lesson and sales barn in Northern Virginia. I mostly focus on restarting thoroughbreds off the track. I've been riding for almost 3 decades, and I've spent probably the last 15 or 20 years restarting off-track thoroughbreds. My favorite thing is problem horses. I'm very involved in different facets of the industry. I'm an all-around rider, but I do both English and Western. So I've competed in everything from hunters and jumpers to barrels and ranch and Western dressage and trail. And I just believe in creating a well-rounded horse. And then I also have worked in the show industry, show hunters, show jumpers as a show manager. And then also I have worked in the thoroughbred industry, primarily as a broodmare manager or foaling attendant. And so I get to see them through the beginning of life, from the second of conception to birth to prepping sales yearlings and things like that, and then help them into their second careers.
That is awesome. And not to derail from going back to the Retired Racehorse Project, but did you say you have 70? You're expecting 70 plus babies?
That's insane.
Yep. Yeah. I don't know. Last year was like 42, and then this year it just exploded. We do primarily do thoroughbreds, so I would say, I don't have a direct number, but I would say it's probably about 55 of those are thoroughbreds. And then we did full, like, some warm bloods and ponies for people, and then those people tell their friends, and then everybody tells their friends. And then it's yeah, a lot of babies coming this year. We've had, I think it's hard when you're in the thick of it because things happen so fast. Now I think we're about at 26. So yeah, so the next 2 months is going to be wild.
Wow.
I'm just tired thinking about it.
I'm also very tired. So if the cohesive thoughts, if I start going all around in circles, just give me a minute. It'll land.
You're right. Start flagging you down to bring you in for a landing.
Oh my goodness, for sure. So going back, let's jump back to the RRP. So you went with 2 horses. Can you give us a little kind of rundown on the 2 horses you brought and what disciplines they were going to be competing in?
Sometimes because of the ADHD, I am a little delusional, like, as far as I'm very much like, I want the horse to pick what they want to do. So I had the Pepsodent show, aka Peppy, who I did the hunters and Western dressage on. And then I had Fuzzy Wuzzy, who I did barrels and ranch on. So that's a big breadth of disciplines to do. And I really didn't think about that. I was just like, oh yeah, we can do this. And we prepared for this. But like, when you get to the competition, I was like, whoa, I have to be very versatile here. So they were 2 very different horses. So that was really fun. And it was very challenging for me as a trainer to be so versatile. And I was on the road just about 2 to 3 days a week at competitions, lessons, or clinics, pretty much from August till October. We were hitting it hard on the road. And so it was great. It really challenged me and pushed me to be better in so many different ways. And the horses really thrived up until we got to Kentucky. I thought we were peaking at the right time.
Yes.
It's so hard. The journey that you go on with these horses for almost a year and getting them to get them to be ready for what they have to do at the horse park and the atmosphere. I feel like there's so much prep. And it's like, how do you get them ready? How do you know that they're going to peak at that time? So I give you a lot of credit for tackling it with 2 horses and 4 disciplines.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Two horses. Like, honestly, I think 2 horses wouldn't be so crazy if I did the same 2 disciplines on them or whatever. But I decided to be an overachiever because Fuzzy definitely wasn't going to jump around and Peppy definitely wasn't going to do the barrels. And because I never want to force a horse into a discipline. I want them to, so my process is very much, let's try this and let's try this. And I have a general idea when I see the horse go, what they're going to be suited for and things. But if people hadn't followed along with me, I just want to preface with the fact that the makeover is just one very small piece to the journey. For me, I love the makeover because it's very goal oriented for me. And that's something as like a trainer helps me choose how we're progressing and give me like a very real goal at the end. But I break things up into really small goals to start with, and then it makes it more manageable. So for me and the way that I train, having that goal at the end, like really gives me the ambition, the motivation to do all of those things. And so in that way, what you will come to find out, listeners, is that my RRP did not go as planned. Everything apart when we were there, and that's okay. Things happen. Like I said, it's all about the journey and what you learn about yourself through that journey, not just with the horses, but like what you realize that you're capable of. But it reaffirmed how I feel about horsemanship, and I wouldn't have changed anything of how we did it. It's just there was obviously some unfortunate circumstances that happened while we were there. But it made me feel like, okay, my training philosophy is right. It's just you can't control the outside world, and that's just a part of it. I'm very blessed to be a part of Pastured Place, who, if people don't know, have sponsored me for the last 3 years, and this will be my 4th year with them. They are so awesome because they understand horses and they understand it doesn't always line up the way that we, hope. And if it does, that's just the icing on the cake. But yeah, so things didn't really go as planned.
Awesome. Let's break it down per horse.
Do you want to just start with give him like a little mini background about Peppy, besides being just the cutest horse of all time?
Yeah, he's really cute.
So Peppy is a 5-year-old, or was a 5-year-old, and now 6. But he was born to be a hunter. He was unraced. He did have an injury as a 3-year-old. He was rehabbed properly, had the time off, and was still eligible because he had published workouts to compete at RRP. When you watch this horse go around out in the field, you're like, wow, he was born to be a hunter. There's just his demeanor. He's very laid back, very chill. He just kind of lopes along. And then seeing a horse like that, you're like, I've been dead wrong before where I've said, oh, this will be a barrel horse. And then it was like born to be a hunter. But Peppy, absolutely, like chestnut, big blaze face, 4 white stockings, just the most handsome boy on the face of the planet and the best personality. Coming through my program through the year, he came along very quickly. By the time the summer came, during the spring, because I foal, my goal is just to get them very broke at home, get them listening to my seat, getting them using their bodies properly. I do implement a program called Balance Through Movement, which I highly recommend to anybody who has any sort of, great to learn biomechanics through that program, getting your horse using their body better, their top line, just being more organized through their body. And then it brings a sense of calmness to them. So that's something that I implement a lot in my program. It's a lot of groundwork, but he just came along very quickly as we were preparing for the makeover. We went to little schooling jumper shows. We went to little schooling hunter shows. He got champion at our little fair show, which was pretty cool. He had just started throwing his changes and he was just so consistent. Like he just has that beautiful rhythm and he just finds the jump out of stride really easily. And it's just like jump, like lope up and then just jump so cute little knees. And he has these beautiful changes. And I took him to Upperville, like for there was a schooling hunter show there. And he like just blew me out of the water on the warm-up day. We didn't have the best of luck in the actual show, but still, as we're coming out of that, like he's doing great and all of that. And then we were implementing Western dressage into it as well. So he was starting to work on some lateral movement before we went. But he just was riding around really great, very broke, just getting him here, there, and everywhere. And we were taking lessons once a week over fences with a hunter trainer. And because it's been several years since I actively competed in the hunters, because for most of the last 10 years, I've mostly focused on Western. So he was a cool step back into that. Oh, I'm still capable of doing this kind of stuff. So when we got to Kentucky, he was actually like a little up, but he seemed to be enjoying his time. He checked in perfect. We got our number and we had a good, actually, warm-up day. How many inches of rain was it that day?
Oh, 5 or 6
in 24 hours.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Yeah, 5 inches of rain. And so all of my divisions were outside. And so we had to warm up outside in the downpour, like the schooling over.
Wait, didn't your saddle get completely destroyed in the rain?
Yeah, my saddle's ruined. Like it's actually legitimately ruined. The saddle itself is intact, but the seat ripped and all the dye came out of it.
Oh boy.
And I'm talking like I'm warming up and as I'm like trotting along, the sponginess in the inside of the saddle, like the seat is like it's squishing.
Yeah. You could hear it squishing.
I had the little Blundstone paddock boots on and the water was coming out of the top of my boots as I was like schooling and stuff. And I was just like, this can't even be real life.
Like it had filled up.
It
really filled your boots and was spilling over.
And thank gosh, like Neve, you gave me some socks. I still have them. I think of you fondly every time I put them on. But gosh, I was just like, I couldn't believe, like, that was not something that I had really prepared for. And at the same time, I'm not sure that I would have wanted to bring another saddle, like, to school if I wasn't going to show in it. That was just absolutely bizarre. I saw rain in the forecast. I didn't think it was going to be historical rains.
I don't know if my field boots have ever dried out.
I know. It's like it took a whole year or not a year, but like 6 months for my saddle to dry out. It was crazy. And that was great. And then the day, that was great. That was wonderful. It was an experience. He handled that with flying.
That was great. It's just, how do you prepare, like, when that's going on? It's almost like it doesn't even matter. Like, the next day is going to be a totally different experience when it's not just deluge on top of it.
And I just remember you saying, I have to take him up there. I have to get him schooling over some fences, because I think if it were a horse where you just knew it could go straight in the ring and it would be fine, it would be one thing. But, like, you knew him well enough to know that he's going to need to see these jumps.
I'm sure there's a million horses out there who 2.6 is not like a problem, but not that it was a problem for him, but it was just like, I don't know, 2.6 seems really big. And anybody can laugh at me.
It's really big at the makeover, though. It's like when they tell you,
and it's like it's a huge difference between 2.3 and 2.6. I don't know. I think it's like the older you get, what is it?
But also the jumps there are like highly decorated. They're full out. They're maxed out. They're big. They're gorgeous, and they are like, I don't know. They're proper 2.6. I feel like he's going to be impressed.
Yes. And not that I doubted his ability to clear them. He jumps a 10, like the little cute little knees and all that. But I think not only for his mental, yes. And there's just a lot going on. There's the whole, what do you call it? like the aisleway where all the shopping is. All that shopping is right there with the tents and all that.
The trade fair. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, right.
And so it's not really the same as getting in there like the day, like as horse show day with all of that rain and all of that. And to be quite honest, I don't think I've ever put him in that situation, like to have to jump in a monsoon. We had a drought all summer here. Like we were begging for rain.
It was a horrible summer.
Yeah, gosh, as long as we get rain, honestly, in December here, sorry, I feel like I'm yelling, but in December or January, we were already considered in severe drought again. And it's certainly making up for it this spring, but that's what happened last year too, was like we had a good spring, or perhaps even too wet, and then August came around and it was like so dry and the footing so hard. And so there's a lot of things that you don't necessarily think are going to be things like adversities that you're going to face when you're there. So show day comes with Peppy. Like one day I'm showing Western dressage and the next day I'm showing the show hunters. And when I started schooling him for the Western dressage, I'd shown Fuzzy all morning, switching back and forth. And now I got to get Peppy ready. And like a crazy person, I'm like, I can't wear the same outfit twice. So I changed the outfit. So I'm getting him prepped for the Western dressage and all of that. And I can't wait to talk about Fuzzy's episode in the morning prior to that. But so I'm prepping him and he's just not himself. And I'm like, this is not how he usually is. And so we go up for our test. He just was a little snarky and our test didn't go quite the way that I wanted. We may have had some little parkour moments.
Extra movements.
Yeah, some little parkour. But all in all, it went okay. But in my heart and my gut, I was like, he's not himself. So anyways, we make it through. I don't know what I scored. I want to say it was like 65%, 62 or 65. I knew we weren't going to be up there. But overall, like considering how we came out and all of that, I was fine with that. And overall, very proud of the way that he handled everything. And that day, like I had the chiropractor come check him out and all of that. And then the next day got on to school him for the hunters and he just still wasn't himself. And I'm just not somebody, and Pastured Place are not people who, it's just one show. He had such a wonderful time up to that. I don't know. It was hard to say what was going on. So I don't really feel like it wouldn't have been fair to just push. There are times when I feel like there are times when you can. This wasn't in my gut. It was just not the time for that. Anyhow, so I did end up scratching from the hunter. That was sad, but I felt in my gut like that was the right choice. And I'm always about putting the horse first and being an advocate for them. They can only communicate with us one way, and he was acting out of character. As far as I was concerned, that was enough for me to listen to him.
Yeah. Wait, I was just going to ask you a quick question, which is for people that might be going to the Retired Racehorse Project for the first time. What was your experience like in terms of having access to the resources that you just spoke of, like the vet and the chiropractor and all that kind of stuff? Because I know that they make those people available for participants.
Yeah, so there's a really great network, like on Facebook. They have the RRP like trainers only forum, and everybody's like communicating through there. Obviously, the competition does not want you reaching out to ask questions about the competition itself, talk to the office about certain questions, rules, and things like that. But I was able to find a really great chiropractor through that RRP Makeover forum. There's vets on site. And then there's so many people, veterans who've been there and done that. There's the farrier on site. God forbid you lose a shoe. Or yes, there's just everything that you can think of there to help your experience. Sometimes people just want to magna-wave their horse, not necessarily because it has an issue, but because they want to help. People are hauling from a very long ways away. So in reality, you want to support your horse as much as you can while you're there. So taking advantage of those things and saving the extra money to be able to afford those things while you're there will be huge, because they are going to be like looking at soundness, and you want to show your horse in the best light. You want to give them the best opportunity. I wouldn't be trying those things for the first time there, because you don't know. You don't want something to make your horse sore. So I would definitely not be taking a wild stab at, is MagnaWave going to be a good option for us? And then all of a sudden your horse is a little funky or whatever, because that can happen. Not in rare cases, but you don't want to find out while you're there. So definitely test those things out before you go.
No.
But yeah, so it was, and I'm very lucky because I'm around a lot of really excellent horsewomen who have so much experience, and I'd already been through quite a lot, and it wasn't with Peppy, it was with Fuzzy prior to that. Sometimes the universe just says it's not your year, and that's okay. And overall, Peppy has a great foundation. Peppy is back at Pastured Place in Pennsylvania. He's available for adoption. He's up and going, and I'm sure they'll be bringing him to some shows in the near future over the spring and everything. And so I'm looking forward to him continuing his journey and finding his person.
No.
So good.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye out for him in and around PA.
Yeah. Hard to miss him.
Yes, truly.
All right. Why don't we dive into Fuzzy's story a little bit? How did she do? How did she settle in when you first got there and deal with everything, and just kind of tell us how it went?
So Fuzzy, like prior to the competition, she seemed to also be peaking, and like we had all these amazing experiences. Like I was feeling like super ultra confident going into it. She really had come into herself. She's only a 4. She made 2 starts on the track, but all in all, she was a very easy horse to bring along, took to things very easily. She has a better brain than my 18-year-old off-track thoroughbred. And so everything seemed to be falling together. We got a lot of help from my trainer from Florida. He helped me with the ranch portion and all different things. It just seemed like we were headed in the right direction, feeling really good. We get there, unload's great. We go to check in, and I'm looking at her. I think she looks great. And we're walking to the check-in. So you have to do a walking exam first. And we did the walking exam. I'm feeling great about it. And they actually denied me. And so that was a little shocking, because I personally didn't see it. I'm not a vet. I'm not negating anything. Again, it was a very long drive coming from Virginia. We were going up through the mountains and the hills of West Virginia. And it's a good long haul, about 10, 11 hours. So, we're there, a little stiff, perhaps. That night, we checked her over, lasered her. I have a Beamer, not a Beamer blanket, but something similar to that, PMF blanket. But because she did not check in with the vet, you are unable to do anything.
Wow.
Like you can't lunge your horse, you can't ride your horse, you can't do anything. You can graze, but I had to wait until the next day to be rechecked. Obviously, this gave me a lot of anxiety because I absolutely would never take a horse that I thought was unsuitable for competition to that far or anything like that.
Sure.
So the next day, the rainy day, we go off and we go for our recheck, and we are checked in. Everything's good. We get our number. Everything's great. So we can do warm-up day. Well, warm-up day is the 6 inches of historical rain, although So we have all the rain that day, and then I end up going to the covered arena to get her warmed up, but I had to get Peppy done first because it was outside. The covered arena was open much longer, all of those things. So I was mostly focused on him. I figured he had a lot more sights to take in. I was more concerned about getting him over fences, all of that, more than I was worried about getting Fuzzy in the covered arena because she really had never had any sort of thing. However, she had just sat in a trailer for 10 hours and sat in a stall and we were able to walk around a little bit and graze, but she wasn't able to get out and move around. And I think perhaps we would have had a better chance had we checked in the first day. That's just a part of it. She seemed okay, all of that. But so we go in for the covered arena and I forgot my number. My husband comes, I call him. I'm like, I need you to bring my bridle number. Can you please bring that over? Of course, because I'm very type B. I'm ADHD, blah, blah, blah. So anyhow, we end up, he's trying to catch me and she will not stop. And I feel a hump in her back and she has never had a hump in her back. And I'm like, oh my goodness, is this the day? This is the day. Oh gosh. And I'm soaking wet and I'm freezing. And so anyhow, we end up warming up. She finally comes down. We had a pretty decent warm up in the barrels. You have a set time to do the barrels. And we do the covered arena warm-up barrels, all the jazz, and it seems okay. Like she seems to be in a better headspace, get everybody else situated for the next day. But I look at the schedule and I'm like, how am I going to do this? Because it's 8 o'clock is the horsemanship pattern for the barrels. Then 10 o'clock is the ranch pattern. And then 1 o'clock was ranch trail, and then 3 o'clock was my Western dressage on Peppy, and then at 5 o'clock was my barrels on Fuzzy. So this is where I had to be very versatile for one day, because being a barrel racer doesn't always align with being a ranch rider, and it certainly doesn't always align with being a Western dressage rider. And so there was just a lot of changes, like in having to be super on and versatile. But this is how I train the horses at home anyways. So it was just like more so a lot of outfit changes, a lot of tack changes.
I was going to say, we're not even like considering the outfit changes here.
And learning all the patterns, all
the
tests, and then remembering which one you're at and then not making mistakes within that. It's a lot.
I'm going to be honest. I was so proud of myself because I did not go off course or off pattern. I'm a wackadoo. So when I went in to do because they don't give you the trail, your patterns, like I know my patterns for next year, I think already. But when it comes to the ranch trail, it's something that they make that day, like maybe not that day, but you're not getting it until that day, like a half an hour before, like you get to walk the trail course, but that's it. Like on foot, your horses don't get to be exposed to any of it. Barrel day, like the barrel horsemanship pattern, I go and do that first at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like rider number 2 or 3. And I'm warming up and Fuzzy is wild. And like, I'm talking like this horse has never been wild in her whole entire life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like it was last night, now it's today. And I don't know what she was doing, if we were crow hopping or what, but it felt like the canter, her back was so rock solid. Usually she's very soft to ride. And like her back was so rock solid. I'm just trying to get her to get with her head, like just settle into it, but we weren't settling into it. And I'm trying to just like casually do the pattern just so that I'm feeling good about it. And then all of a sudden it's 5 minutes before I have to be in the ring and my rein snaps. I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? So then I have to run up to
Luckily we were stabled like probably the closest barn, but yeah.
And yeah, right there. Yes, thank gosh. And so I'm like, oh, okay, run up there. And then I even think I made a bit change, like a lunatic. And I loped her around for 2 seconds and I went down to the arena. I was like, it's going to be what it's going to be. Like, I definitely try my best. So we go in the arena and this horse lays it down. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how much more whiplash I can handle through this whole experience, because I'm like, yep. And I'm like, okay, I actually feel pretty good about that. We walk out. I'm like, okay, all right, there's a little confidence boost. So I keep like refreshing and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're like sitting in second place. Cool. I'm so excited. So then we go into the ranch pattern and she goes in, she lays that down too. I'm thrilled. I think we're sitting in like 3rd or 4th place. And I'm like, heck yeah. Okay, we've been through our hard times. We're going to make it through. Then we go into ranch trail, and I just think this whole experience has been a lot to start with for Fuzz. So we go in and we do our, like, you know, that you got to jog in and out of these little trees, and then you turn and go across the arena, and you're going to go open the gate and go through the cows. This horse, we walk in there and she's, every time we go in here, this arena changes. She's, oh gosh, nope. No, it's like she'd never seen a cow in her whole life. And I was like, oh no, all right. And we tried our best, but there was no getting over there. She was just a little fried. And I'm like, okay, like, that's fine. We still had the barrels. That was really where I was feeling the most confident. I knew we weren't making it to the finale and the ranch after that because, like, obviously we were disqualified. Okay, now I got to regroup. We got to get to Peppy for Western Dressage. We've already gone over how that panned out. Then get off of Peppy. Now I got to warm up for barrels at 5:00. Again, I'm like the third person to go in, and we are...
I watched this from the stands from across the arena.
I'm going to be honest with you. It took me like a month to watch the live of this because somebody was videoing it live, and because like mentally this like really messed me up and Fuzzy up. But so we're sitting at the gate for the barrels, and we're just like waiting our turn because I'm the next horse in. I want to be ready. I want to get in. Yes.
Yeah. And they want you really on deck. Like when you're next, they want you right up by the in gate because you go in and out of two separate gates.
Yes. And so like the in gates are very low, and the gentleman in front of me who made his run, he sent his horse really fast home, and I don't know if there was a miscommunication, something happened, and his horse didn't respond, and he didn't stop, and then he hooked a hard right and actually jumped out of the arena into me on Fuzzy. And so as the horse was jumping out,
he got launched. Right.
He fell off, and the horse hooked a left and ran into me and Fuzzy. Like Allie from Pastured Place is holding on to Fuzz. She just lets go so that we don't get in a bind. And so he runs into us and chases us into the out back, and then proceeds to run into us 2 more times. And he gets stopped, and I have 60 seconds to get into the arena. And
oh my gosh, I can't believe they didn't give you a little bit of grace there and give you a minute
at the end of the pack or something.
I'm going to be honest with you. I was in such shock when it happened that I was just like, we just got to go. We just got to go. It's our turn. It was like a level of like shock and awe. And I'm just like, okay, take a deep breath. We got this. And yeah, because I didn't want to cause a scene either and be like, I need time or whatever. I'm just a weirdo. Anyways, I have a hard time speaking up for myself in general. So never mind a situation like this. I'm just always, I don't want to inconvenience anybody. That's like the motto of my life.
Yeah.
And your adrenaline's already fired up. So like, you're probably just, I'm just going to go with it.
And so anyhow, I'm watching, like, I'm trying to get her in, and she's just balking at the gate. I can't even get the horse into the pen at all. And we're balking, we're like not moving forward. Finally, she moves forward, and I'm like, okay, forward motion, we got this. And then we go to Lopez Circle, and she keeps spinning back, and you have 30 seconds to get cross the barrier, cross the timer, or else you're disqualified. Well, she did finally make a swoop to go up into that, and we did cross the barrier, and then she spun back. And I was just like, oh, man, she's only 4. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know if my seasoned horses who have been there, done that, could have recovered from that. So, like, in such a short period of time. I actually have never even had that experience at a barrel race. That's not a common occurrence. So it's not something that I would even know what the rules are for that. That's just a bizarre thing to happen. And that's like the story of my life, like a series of unfortunate events. So anyways, I'm obviously disappointed. I feel that was a really tough experience for a really young horse that I felt like I had prepared really well. And I don't even think there's anything you can do to prepare for that. And either your horse can handle it or they can't. And she just couldn't. Now we move on to the next day. I've scratched Peppy from the hunters, but I'm like, all I have left for that day is now just my second barrel racing run. And so since I wasn't disqualified, because we did cross the timer, we received a no time. So I was like, I just wanted to test and see. Obviously, there's no way to get back into the arena to try to give her a good experience prior to going in there. It's just, you just got to go and make your next run. So I hopped on her in the morning and I was like, can I get her down to the arena? And honestly, she just kept spinning back. Like, I couldn't get her near the arena. I couldn't hardly walk her in hand down to the arena. Like, she was absolutely fried. And so at that time, I just was like, I just had this epiphany. Like, I tried to trail ride her and I just know her like so well. And I just knew that this wasn't her. This isn't fair to her. I don't care about competing that much. Like, I'm going to be totally honest. If somebody told me tomorrow I didn't have to compete a horse ever again, it wouldn't matter to me. Like, I just wanted to do what was right. And unfortunately, prior to all of this, I actually found out that I wasn't even going to be able to keep Fuzzy. I had a different perception of what me and her owners, like what our deal was. And so I found out maybe like a month before RRP that Fuzzy wasn't coming home with me, or like she was coming home with me, but like she was going to go on to be a broodmare. And that was hard, and that was lingering in the back of my head. So maybe I felt more pressure that I had to make it count at that point with everything going so just totally awry. I was like, okay, you know what? All we need is a positive experience. Like, she's not leaving Kentucky without a good experience. And so I'm out on this trail ride and I'm like, I'm hand walking the pattern. I was like, I don't care what anybody says. And I came back and I told you, I was like, I am hand walking. Like, I paid my entry fees. I'm putting my outfit. Yeah. So I just said, you know what? This is what I'm doing. Like, I wasn't asking any questions. I just said, this is a horsemanship competition. This is not a normal competition. This is not like a big barrel race. This is not a super show or whatever, where I'm going to just take my time and I'm going to give the horse a good experience.
Yep. And also, if they let me do it for competitive trail, you deserve your however many minutes in the ring too. Yeah.
That's all I cared about. I put my little outfit on. I had bought like this Barbie outfit, like this pink shiny thing with these shiny pants. And I'm like, I'm wearing this because maybe I was too ahead of myself thinking that we were going to make it to the finale, but I had bought this outfit for the finale. I'm like, this is my finale. I'm walking this horse through the pattern. I did. They were very gracious and let me walk through the pattern. And it may look silly to some people. She should just get her in there or just do whatever you got to do to make her do it. And it was like, for what? For what? She's going to be a broodmare. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like even if you were in good standing, I think you're always someone who's going to put the horse first. And I think you probably unintentionally inspired a lot of people in that moment, because I just think that a lot of us have that feeling of we're in a clinic or a lesson with a big name rider or a big show, and everything feels like it's on the line. And I think you find out so much about yourself in those moments where you go, I have to just suck it up and maybe feel a little bit embarrassed, but I'm going to put this animal first, because what else would I do? Yeah.
I hope so. Yeah. And again, just like I prefaced with everything prior to this, it's 2 days. Like, we were showing for 2 days. That's it. That's 2 days of her life. And we had such a wonderful time prior to that. So I don't define our experience together by what happened at RRP. It was very unfortunate. I feel so terrible that happened to her because she's a very nice horse. But things happen. My old boss, he had a horse who was ready to go to Breeders' Cup, and he did a little suspensory and he was out. And he had another horse who was also going to be in the Breeders' Cup, and he spiked a temp the week before. And that's just, you could make it to the very top. And at the end of the day, these are just animals. They're just, and as much as you want something, it doesn't make a difference. It's one day. So in a very big journey. So I felt like I learned a lot. I felt very empowered in that moment. Okay. Like I said, I like doing RRP. Competing is not my life. I enjoy.
Yeah. I think I feel like real horsemanship happens in the trenches.
Yes. And I like that. I like the puzzle pieces. I like figuring things out. I like getting nitty gritty and feeling really bad about myself. And why do I do this? And then all of a sudden something happens. I'm like, oh, this is exactly why. And so I think a lot of people's journey, obviously this is on hyper speed, right? The journey to the RRP is getting this done in a really short period of time. And so for some people, a normal horsemanship journey may be over several years. Like I said, with Peppy, going from not ever jumping to jumping a full 2-6 course, with all the bells and the whistles and stuff, I don't think that's necessarily an easy feat for most horses coming off the track. Yes, okay, I get it. Any horse should be able to jump 2-6. It is 2-3 seems more manageable. I know it's silly. It's 3 inches. So at the end of the day, I do think that you can't judge your experiences on one day. And so I'm just grateful for what I was able to accomplish and what I learned through the entire journey. And I did, those horses, both of those horses gave me an immense amount of confidence. They perhaps were even too easy. You know what I mean? I was very blessed with them. And everything that they taught me and gave to me, in the 9-month, 10-month journey there, it's life-changing. And until you do the RRP yourself, you can't really understand what people say when it just changes. RRP has changed my life. Well, not only just that, but life. The skills that you build by doing RRP, having a big goal, setting those small goals, and how do you manage to get to that big goal? And sometimes you have to dig deep to even be because there have been times in the past where I'm is this horse even ready? Do I even send in my final entry? And you just constantly question yourself, and then you have to say to yourself okay, actually I do think I can do this. I we're doing it. You just have to take that plunge, and it's into the unknown, and you have no idea how it's going to shake out when you get there. It could be the best experience of your life. It may be very trying, like the situation I had this year. But again, that was my 3rd time here, and I've had the highest of the highs and the lowest of the lows.
You're this is why I do it. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it also just you don't realize how the struggles or lack of struggles or whatever that you go through with your horses leading up to that event can change your entire philosophy about horses. And that's what it did for me. And I know that maybe you considered a lot of that happening for you while you were actually in the moment and having those struggles as well. But it's you're gifted this skill set and mental fortitude that you're now able to apply to all of the horses that come after that horse.
Oh, I'm bulletproof.
Yeah.
100%.
Now you're ready for anything. Speaking of ready for anything, on the heels of the Retired Racehorse Project, you also participated in the Real Rider Cup. Can you talk a little bit about what that event is and how it's set up and how you find a horse that you're going to ride?
I was very honored to be asked by Pastured Place to participate. Again, I haven't shown, I've haven't actively shown as a hunter or a jumper in many years. Like, I start horses over fences, might take them to a little show here and there, or horses that I sell, like I'll do sales videos and stuff of them jumping around, but like actively showing or competing, I haven't done that in quite some time. I did last year with Peppy, but so I was honored to be asked to join in. Peppy wasn't quite ready after RRP to step back into the show ring, but backing that up a little bit. So to participate in the Real Rider Cup, you have to raise $1,000. I think it's $1,000 to be able to participate. And all of the proceeds go to Thoroughbred Aftercare, whether it's RRP, I think after the races.
It might be the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance, I think.
Adds a layer, right?
Yeah.
And yes, yeah, all of the proceeds are going to benefit horses aftercare and everything like that. It's a great cause, and this past year was held in conjunction with the Maryland 5-Star, so it was a really cool event. We were like the entertainment of the evening, and so everybody dresses up. You wear jockey silks, and it's just, you have a team, you compete, and you do your little show jump round. They take the best 3 scores and times of your 4 teammates and accumulate those, and the top teams with the lowest times win. And so I got to catch ride, which I have not rode something over fences in a long time. So the day before I rode IHSA in college, so I'm not a stranger to catch riding horses over fences. That was like, I don't know, like almost 15 years ago. I ride a lot of horses, but I don't ride a lot of finished horses. I ride a lot of green horses off the track over fences and stuff. So the day before I tried Operation Binks, and
who also, like, from a distance kind of looks a lot like Peppy.
Yeah.
Yes, very similar, very similar. And so I jumped him around, loved him. We jived. And so the next day we go to the Maryland 5-Star. We get to watch. Okay, so I have so much more respect for you guys who do eventing, because it's like probably perhaps one of the only things that I have not done or tried as a discipline, because when I was a kid at summer camp and stuff, we watched Thrills and Spills on VHS. Yes. Oh my gosh. So that is my experience with eventing. So that's why I never was interested in eventing, because that scared the crap out of me.
Okay, wait, so we just have to stop you right there.
Even I put that on last night.
We were like,
literally put that on last night.
Oh, we'll do a voiceover and we'll talk about all the like funny things that happen. And 30 minutes into it, we're both like, Emily's, I don't think we can talk about this on the podcast.
And I was like, I don't think we can play this because it's horses falling.
It's just graphic.
It's like a bunch of rotational falls into water and stuff. And I'm just like, okay. And then, so in contrast, we would watch that. And then we had to watch the Metal Maclays. And so I was like, oh, I want to be a Maclay rider. I don't want to do that crazy stuff. So it was like whiplash.
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's back when none of the jumps came down.
Which is what's crazy is that was an entertainment video that was put out.
It was a standalone.
Everybody watched
it. It's literally
right.
And concussions and broken legs and just, oh my God.
I don't know if that was on purpose or whatever, but where I'm from, there aren't a ton of eventers. It's mostly hunters and jumpers. And so anyhow, we get to watch the cross country, and like we got to see artists go, and I was just awe-strucken. But my first experience, I've never seen real cross country up, certainly, like I've seen a little starter level or something like that, and I've jumped a coop and a log in my life, but I'm walking up to these jumps and I'm like, these people are insane. This is nuts.
Yeah, they're big.
And so I ended up we're standing at one jump, and it's like a combination that everybody had struggled through, and Boyd Martin comes, and I'm like, oh, I actually recognize that person. He comes around and he jumps down and he goes over the coffin. It's that brush jump that's like at the crest of a hill, and he just gets a bad spot into it. Horses refuses, and he just gets launched over the top.
It gets catapulted. I was at that jump.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I'm like, see, this is everybody who's standing there with me. They're like, this is so great. And I'm like, this is exactly why I don't do this. Like this has cemented the fact that I will never be an eventer. Like more power to everybody, but hot dang, no thank you. So anyway, so we go to the competition and Binks can be a little puke sometimes. And so we had a lovely round when we were away from the gate, but he did decide that he did not want to go past the gate. And so we did not finish our round, but we did end on a nice little jump and whatever. And then I fell in love with Binks, and now Binks is now at the farm with me.
I know. I love that he ended up with you.
I didn't know that. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
He's so fancy. Like when he was being naughty and he was like doing this really extended trot and you're doing your little queen wave, which I love so much. And he's just like doing this gorgeous trot. I was like, that little shit. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, that little cheeky bugger. Oh my gosh. And horses have totally humbled me this year, man. I have just been able to really laugh at myself. I'm like, I really don't have a lot of shame. I just don't have any awareness of what other people are thinking, really. I'm just like, whatever. See you later, everybody. Have a nice time. Bye. Hope we gave you a good show. But I love Binks. And so Binks has been here with me for a few months, and we are just like going through the balance for movement stuff. And we're going to try a little Western stuff this year.
Yeah.
And depending on how life goes, I don't know. I get too ambitious, but the Upperville little classes with the, what do you call it? They have the too slow to go and the back from the track hack and stuff like that. So we're not going to be ready to do, like, we're not going to do the big 3 foot 6 hunter derby or anything like that. But we are going to try to do like maybe the back. Oh, he's too slow to go because he was unraced.
Oh yeah. They have that whole Thoroughbred series there now, right? I also love that. I remember how nervous you were about going to Upperville last year, and I'm so glad that you went and had a good experience, because I think that those bigger shows are really starting to like send out an olive branch to the Thoroughbred people and just be like, come here, you can come and show here. Guess what? We're going to make classes for you specific, but you can be in the other classes too if you want to. And I'm just so glad that you went and realized that like you deserve to be there. And you work just as hard, if not harder than everybody else. So, you know, you've earned your place there.
Oh, thank you. I do think that I get a little like in my head sometimes. I don't deserve to be here. I don't stand a chance here and stuff. And I think like from my time working in the show farm, like at show farms and stuff, I just see like the background of it, and I'm like, I'm just not this elite. Like imposter syndrome, but who really cares? I don't care if I don't have a $20 million farm with all the bells and the whistles. You don't need any of that. But in my head, I'm just like, I don't deserve to be here. But after going, it was like ripping the Band-Aid off, and I was like, oh, it's just another horse show. Like, why am I being so dramatic? I know, but I always picture myself as like a little meatball kid. I'm just a little meatball. Don't look. Even though I just said I have no shame, it's in the moment, I don't really have any shame, but the thought of going places sometimes gives me a lot of anxiety. It's more like once I'm in a situation, it's like, I'm in it. There's no getting out of here. Honestly, like that's how I am about everything in life. If anybody asks me to go do anything or whatever, like whether it's just go out to dinner or something, I'm like, everybody's going to think I'm weird. And then I'm there and I'm like, oh, this is fine. It's just I think about things too much. I'm an overthinker.
Sure. Yeah, I'm a little bit that way too, where I'm just kind of, what did I sign up for?
Yes. Yes, and it's all coming out and being thrown up on you guys at the moment.
All right.
Chelsey, it has been so great catching up with you. And next time with you, we're going to dive into what life looks like after the makeover, including your new horse, a huge upcoming barrel race, and what happens when the internet suddenly has opinions about how to teach a leg yield.
Yeah, I'm just an animal abuser.
I think. So stay tuned. We will catch up with you soon.
Between that and a horse that she tried to help. Stay tuned, everybody.